brother lost his wife and home in the catastrophe.
May the great serpent guide you.
Should anyone be the
And
same?
the rest of
You
us.
should be hanging your head in shame. But instead, here you are, acting like a common fool.
Borhal, calm down. Do not do this here.
How shameful of you to have these outbursts. Oh my, what would poor mother and father think?
You will speak not of mother and father, you sloughing bastard. No shame. No shame at all. What a waste of good life that they worked tirelessly to give you.
Mother and father spat on the ground I walked on. You were their pride and joy. Oh, good, generous Borhal, always the paragon, the keeper of our family name.
I am disgusted to call you brother. It would be best for all of us if by some miracle you were to drown in one of those bottles of Koza you are so infatuated with.
Ugh, with a brother like you, is it any wonder I am driven to drink? What? What do you want? Seems your outburst has attracted some outside attention, brother. If it was an audience you wanted, you have it now.
Please accept my apologies. I caught my brother attempting to do something unspeakable, and I could not contain my anger.
Oh yes, go on. Invite a total stranger into our family squabbles.
This is no squabble, you pompous fool. What you have done today is abhorrent. I can forgive stealing my money or pawning my valuables. What I cannot abide, however, is you attempting to sell Mother's urn with her remains still within.
I was drunk, I did not know. All of those vases appeared the same.
It is an urn, not a vase, you ignoramus. And you were the one who chose it when Mother passed away. I am tired of your shamelessness, and I am done bearing what should be your indignity. Do you hear me? I am done. You have gone too far this time, Amila, and I cannot bear the humiliation of being your brother any longer. I challenge you to a duel. Danica shall be my second.
What? Are you mad?
Borhal, are you sure? There is already so much death in the city. What good would this do? There has to be another way.
Too late, Danica. He has issued his challenge. I accept. In fact, look forward to it. You shall be my second. Oh, that will pose a problem. You see, Borhal is a stickler for tradition. Apologies, dear brother, but it seems that your precious duel will have to wait, as I have no second to aid me.
It is true that the duel cannot commence until Amila acquires a second. This delay may be significant, as Amila has no one willing to aid him, including you, I suppose. I assure you, you will be rewarded greatly if you do this, no matter the outcome, so I expect you will change your mind. I ask that you do so quickly. Do you truly have no shame, Amila? No shame at all. What you have done goes beyond restraint.
The things they expect me to accomplish. Well, look who it is. You have made quite a stir. And given the state of things, that is a singular accomplishment. To what do I owe the honor, Harbinger? Well, well. Progress, at last. then your arrival is even more momentous than I'd believed. I will spare you much of the technical detail, as I confess that pieces of it I barely understand myself. One cannot help but notice the energy field around the scaled citadel. Until we can get through it, we cannot shut down the experiment inside, and it has proved quite impossible to get through. We had the beginnings of a plan to build a makeshift contraption to redirect grav drive energy to see if we could penetrate the barrier, but the project came to a halt. Politics got in the way. Every one of the houses needs to contribute, and everyone realized they could potentially use it for leverage. What should have been a cooperative effort turned contentious. Easy decisions became negotiations. And so, construction never began. We have sat here, staring at this disaster as supplies pile up for well over a week now. Serpent help us, it is infuriating. Indeed. All must serve. I believe I've done enough complaining for now. Time to get to work. If you're here, the Council has likely sent word to the houses that it's time to stop the infighting. I doubt it will be enough. I need to oversee construction here, make sure things are built to specifications. If you could follow up with the houses, that may speed up the process. The first convert in generations. The only one to have heard from the speaker since the disaster. Oh, I think they will listen. House Vetol owes us access codes for the city power grid. It's the only way to guarantee enough power to activate the device. House Kadik was supposed to provide a young scientist named Sahima to help me. She had at least some experience with the original Citadel experiment. No idea why they refused to send her. And Hasmek, the new elder of House Dulkef, he has been distant, guarded. He claims to have vital information about an important component of the experiment, but has withheld it until now. Help me get what we need, and we will see what we can do for the speaker, and for House Varun. And I may have something that can help you in whatever trials the Serpent puts before you as we navigate this. We have been nearly overwhelmed with all that has happened over the last few weeks, but I have still spent some time doing my own research when I can. These phantoms, the vortex. Fascinating subject, really. If only there were some less disastrous way we could have discovered all this. I know. I have lost friends and colleagues myself. We have encountered several interesting phenomena. First, while the phantoms shift to a fully human form when killed, they often retain small shards that appear to be an almost crystallized version of vortex energy. Second, we have learned that killing the phantoms sometimes causes an even greater disturbance. Horrors, as they have been colloquially termed, can appear from somewhere. We are unsure of their origin, but it is not within our universe. These horrors and their spawn are infested with cysts, a seemingly organic manifestation of vortex energy. We have managed to collect enough to run experiments and have devised a method of combining them into an explosive mixture with varying properties. While they have no use in the development of the morning device, if you find yourself out in the field, I believe they could have more practical applications. Well then, allow me to provide you with a few starting samples. The process is simple enough that any industrial workstation should suffice, if you have the materials. And depending on how you combine said materials, you may find the results to be somewhat variable. I hope you can use that to your advantage. Yes, depending on how much trouble you're getting into. We have been nearly overwhelmed with all that has happened over the last few weeks, but I have still spent some time doing my own research when I can. These phantoms, the vortex. Fascinating subject, really. If only there were some less disastrous way we could have discovered all this. Well, then you are in luck. We have encountered several interesting phenomena. First, well, the phantom. Second, these horrors. We have managed to collect enough. While they have no use in... I do hope you are not questioning the thoroughness of my research. I assure you, they will work. The process is simple enough that any industrial workstation should suffice, if you have the materials. And depending on how you...
This is exactly the impression we don't want to give.
Please, Jamal. Don't you see how all this works in our favor? It's not up for discussion. I won't risk what we've worked so hard to achieve. It's done.
No, you'd risk our future and reputation as a house. But you are the chosen elder.
Don't patronize me. The Great Serpent spared our house. We are favored here. And shouldn't you get back to the council? We can't afford to be absent at a time like this.
I guarantee I'm not missing much. But you're right. I'll be heading back soon enough. Something I can do for you?
So, Ekris has sent our newest harbinger to inquire about Sahima. Don't worry. Jamal's already told me all about you. I'm Razma, Elder of House Kadik and head of the Ministry of Conjunction. You're right. It's not wise to waste time on pleasantries, especially now. Besides, who am I to argue with the Great Serpent's choice? I know the Council is looking to Sahima for answers, but the truth is, she's been taken, along with other members of the House. They're being held hostage by zealots, and now they're demanding negotiations. As much as I'd welcome the expertise, the zealots would never allow an outsider to participate. But the negotiations aren't where I need assistance. The zealots have yet to name specifics. At best, they'll demand an inordinate amount of credits or firearms. Worst case, a seat at the High Council, or even the reinstatement of their house. House Maleen. They know we can't risk Sahima for Dazra's sake. So, they won't hold back when it comes to demands. Aha. My thoughts exactly. Normally I'd have agents doing everything possible to find them. But we too suffered losses. We need to be here. Present. I couldn't risk more lives. It's the only reason I even agreed to these negotiations. But now that you're here, I can finally take action. And that is where the issue lies. I don't know where the Zealots are keeping Sahima, but I have a good idea who does. Their name is Merrick. Merrick is a Kadik, and they also work for me as an agent in the Ministry of Conjunction. This is where matters get complicated. As I said, Merrick works for me in the Ministry of Conjunction. They've been establishing an inside relationship with the Zealots for some time now, on my orders. Forcing them to give up the information could jeopardize all they've worked for. So don't expect them to be forthcoming. Get the information any way you see fit, as long as no physical harm comes to them. See that you do. You'll find Merrick upstairs in the meditation room.
You're no member of House Kadik. What are you doing here? Oh, so you're the heretic turned harbinger who thinks they're one of us now. So tell me, what would a chosen one such as yourself want with someone like me? Oh, I certainly don't. I may have many talents, but mind reading isn't one of them. Well, you could have led with that. I guess this means the High Council is still asking Auntie Razma where Sahima is. And if you're here making demands, she obviously has decided to make use of you rather than undergo sincere negotiations. I see what's going on here. On the contrary, I know how important it is to keep that information confidential. I've worked hard to obtain my position with the Zealots. And like I've told Razma 1,000 times, I have no reason to believe they're going to hurt my dear cousins, especially Sahima. So, as far as I'm concerned, that information stays with me. You make a good point for an outsider. And perhaps I should take your presence here as a sign. The location you're looking for is Shadow Station Epsilon. It's an old Varun base that they've taken over for themselves. Razma will know it. Let her tell you the details, seeing as how I'm about to be reassigned. It better.
You must have gotten the location. I figured they wouldn't be completely forthcoming. If my intel is correct, you can find Shadow Station Epsilon in the Badlands, north of Dazra. I can send you the coordinates. The sooner the better. Now that we have a rescue mission underway, I'll speak to Merrick about setting up the negotiations. I expect them to be pliable after their last encounter with you. The current plan is to hold them at one of the geothermal power stations. Meet us there when Sahima and the others are safe. Good. Serpent willing, your timing will line up. I'll stall the Zealots as long as I can, which shouldn't be an issue. That being said, I'd still appreciate it if you could act quickly. Now, Jamal wants an update before you leave. Just don't let her distract you for too long.
Harbinger, a word before you go. Tell me, Harbinger, What do you know about the Zealots?
Back yet? Nothing yet. I'm beginning to worry. They'll be fine. Not a lot of questions asked in Neon.
You're right. The Great Serpent protects.
An oversimplified observation, but correct nonetheless. The Zealots are widely frowned upon within our society. They're a remnant of the Serpent's crusade, days we'd like to forget. Has my dear sister given you any history on our house's relations with the Zealots? I'm surprised she even mentioned that much. Razma would have everyone believe she only wishes to keep an eye on the Zealots, so the Council can make informed decisions. The truth is, she's had this particular group of Zealots under her thumb for quite some time. This is only a problem now because she's lost control. That is the real reason why Razma hasn't informed the High Council, and I'm sworn to silence. Exactly. House Khadik already has a reputation for being sympathetic to the Zealots, but the truth is far worse. Razma wants the Zealots to back House Khadik, so the balance of power between the noble houses would shift to us. She's been employing them, paying them in supplies that aid their blind crusade. House Khadik would be condemned should anyone outside our house find out. What none of us expected was the disaster that is the Scaled Citadel. The aftermath is what allowed the Zealots to grab Sahima and the others, flipping the balance of power in their favor. Razma has lost control and is putting House Khadik's reputation and power at risk. And that's what I wish to speak to you about. House Khadik shouldn't be associating with Zealots at all, except on an extermination level. But worse, we absolutely cannot be supplying them with ordnance of any kind. We need to cut ties with the Zealots altogether. How astute. I want you to put an end to any connections between House Khadik and the Zealots. And while my position won't allow me to be blunt, I'll still make it clear. Should the hostages not survive, Razma would blame the Zealots and cut all ties. I'm doing what I must to preserve this house. All you need to get is Sahima's research, which she has with her. Think about it if you must, but if you care about your people, you'll come to the same conclusion as I have. And when you do, just know that we can't afford any loose ends, no witnesses. As far as everyone else is concerned, the hostages were dead when you arrived, and you exacted revenge in House Khadik's name. I trust you'll make the right decision. Until then, I'll see you at the negotiations.